Last year, the Golden State Warriors were back on top of the NBA world. Draymond Green capped off another stellar defensive season that was rewarded with a chip at the end. To many, Andrew Wiggins finally removed the bust label by being arguably the second best player on a championship team. Klay Thompson had a great comeback year for someone coming off of an ACL tear and an Achilles injury. And Steph Curry finally captured his first ever Finals MVP with one of the greatest performances in league history against the #1 ranked defense, the Boston Celtics. But now here we are 1 year later, and the Warriors are fighting for their playoff lives game by game, barely being above 500. And with the struggles that this team has, it begs the question, are they still a legitimate threat, or can we just write off the Golden State Warriors already? But before we continue, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Press that bell for post notifications to stay up to date with the latest content on the Young Mustard channel as well. Without further ado though, let's start off with the biggest issue of the Golden State Warriors, and that is their bench. One of the things that was a big support to the Golden State Warriors last year in the absence of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green for huge chunks of the year was their depth. Players like Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney, Otto Porter, GP2, Bjelica, those guys were key solid pieces that provide a level of consistency off the bench when Curry was off the court, Klay was off the court, and defensively they gave them a lot of flexibility. In the case of Otto Porter, he could defend multiple positions on the wing. Gary Payton is one of the best point of attack defenders in the league, and Kevon Looney is a solid interior presence, and he can move his feet on the perimeter as well. But unfortunately though, for the Golden State Warriors, they expected some of their younger guys to step up this year, so they let go of guys like Gary Payton and Otto Porter. And now those minutes are going towards guys that are just not good enough players to be a part of a legitimate rotation that has championship aspirations. Guys like Anthony Lamb, Ty Jerome, and don't get me started on some of these recent Andre Iguodala minutes. I mean, I love the guy, but let's be serious here. Steve Kerr's rotations definitely have not been up to par to his usual standards, but I can't blame him too much because some of these young guys have not lived up to expectations. For starters, James Wiseman has been a bust since day one. I mean, I understand the Warriors offense is not some simple thing. It's a lot of screen setting, ball movement, and quick actions, but Wiseman literally was just not good at anything. And obviously it was a big reason why he was not only traded, but he was given plenty of DMPs beforehand. And then you have their other two lottery picks of Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. In the case of Moses Moody, I still think he could be a solid 3-and-D player, but he just hasn't panned out for this team. He doesn't make good reads with the ball. He's not a great three-point shooter yet, and defensively he can be serviceable, but he just has not been good. And in the case of Jonathan Kuminga, even though he's not as bad as he was at the start of the season, he's been playing better as the season has waned on. He's still not where they need him to be. But despite all the things I said about players like Kuminga, Wiseman, even Moody, I think it's safe to say that the one player that has been the biggest disappointment on the Golden State Warriors, and arguably the biggest disappointment from a player standpoint of this season, is Jordan Poole. Now, I'm not here to say that Jordan Poole is going to be trash. He's not going to ever be good, but I don't think that this year has been the step in the right direction that the Warriors have hoped for him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is averaging 20 points per game and has had some really good explosions this season from a scoring perspective, but outside of that, it hasn't been that efficient. He's shooting below 43% from the field, below league average from 3 at 33%. He's averaging a career high in his turnovers per game, and it's not like his assist to turnover ratio is that good. And to be quite frank, it's not even just the numbers. If you just watch the tape, there's so many mistakes in his game every single possession damn near. Staying on the theme of offense, Jordan Poole has some of the most careless turnovers that I have ever seen. I'm not talking about times that he gets ripped by a great defender or a nice steal. No, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about banana peel turnovers. Things like dribbling the ball off of his foot, losing the ball on a drive, getting called for obvious carries. The man finds new and creative ways to turn the ball over, and a lot of it is truly a sign of immaturity. And if you look at the defensive side of the ball, he's even worse this year than he was last year, not because of his ability getting worse, but because of the pieces around him, so he's more exploitable. Off the ball, he has zero awareness. On the ball, he can't keep up with players. He doesn't provide any type of help defense. He doesn't get in passing lanes consistently. He just simply is not a good defensive player, and you could argue a defensive liability. And I don't say those things to write off Jordan Poole, but when you depart from certain players on this team like a GP2, a guy like Otto Porter, Bjelica, guys that contributed in their playoff run to mass degrees in the case of GP2 and Otto Porter, you may not think it's that big of a deal, but when you throw in the fact that Steph Curry is going to miss games, you need guys like Wiseman, Moody, Moody, Kuminga, and especially Jordan Poole to step up. They gave Poole his money and it seems like he's just relaxed into it. Now I'm not going to sit there and just ignore all the other issues with the Golden State Warriors. For starters, Draymond Green is also a part of the problem. Defensively, he is not as engaged as he used to be. And the thing about Draymond is if he's just 80% of his normal self on the defensive side of the ball, that affects this team to a huge degree. The responsibility that Draymond has defensively throughout the whole Warriors dynasty, especially in the post-KD era, is at a higher degree than ever. With less point of attack defenders to help him out, he's gonna have to be the best version of himself night in and night out to keep this defense afloat, and he just has not been that. Klay Thompson, despite his offensive reemergence this year, defensively he has not been that good. He can't move laterally the way he used to, he struggles to get over screens, and off the ball he was never really that good, but now it's even worse. And look, I understand a lot of that because of the injuries that he's gone through, but at the end of the day, awareness is still a mental thing. It isn't a physical thing. Now I know what plenty of Warriors fans are gonna tell me in the comment section. Yo Mustard, what about the injuries, dog? Wiggins has been missing games, bro. He still isn't even back, bro. Curry has missed a huge chunk of the season, bro. You can't do this, bro. We got a lot of stuff going on in the IR, bro. And to that, I understand completely. Andrew Wiggins was a key piece to them winning the championship last year and is arguably their second or third best player on the roster. Obviously, losing their best wing defender, or you could even say their best wing period, is going to be a big blow to this team's chances at a championship. But regardless of how you feel about Andrew Wiggins' injury, I definitely think he's going to be beneficial when he gets back. If he gets back, Godspeed to that man. I know he's going through some personal issues, but they were 19 and 18 with him. Even when he was there, he wasn't moving the needle for this team's win and loss column. And the same thing applies to Steph Curry. I mean, he's having a phenomenal season, one of the best years of his career. 30 points per game, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, a steal, shooting 43% from 3 on nearly 12 attempts a game, and a true shooting percentage of 66%. The guy has been phenomenal this season, and I'm not going to take away from Steph Curry. But when Curry was playing this year on the court, they were still a below 500 team with a 23 and 24 record. The issue with this team has nothing to do with the starters not playing. It has to do with what happens when they're off the court and when they're not playing. I'm sorry, but their issues are deeper than Andrew Wiggins and Steph Curry missing games this season when you have a 8 and 29 road record. More than likely, the Golden State Warriors will not have home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs, and I'm supposed to believe that they can win a series? I'm sorry, it's very tough for me to believe that. I'll never count out the Golden State Warriors' chances of winning a championship because at the end of the day, it still stands to this day that when Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green start every game of a series, they have never lost. They are the reigning and defending NBA champions for a reason, so I'll never just completely dismiss them from championship contention. But if you're gonna ask me, do I look at them as contenders in the Western Conference? Unfortunately, I can't say that right now. At most, I can look at them as a threat, but I can't look at them as serious contenders. It's hard for me to do that when you only have one more win on the road than the Detroit Pistons. But hey, those are just my thoughts on the Golden State Warriors. I'm sure plenty of you guys may disagree, so let me know down below in the comment section. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. You guys stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.